Good morning. Thank you for joining Coffee and Convo Houston, live with RE and Chosen. Today's special guest, FD Sparkman. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Convo Houston.
Good morning, Grand Rising and salutations, y'all.
Oh man, we're starting this day out with issues like we normally do, technical issues.
It happens.
It happened. All right, let's introduce our special guest, Leroy Board. Thank you for joining us again today.
Good morning, man. Good morning.
All right, now welcome back. I know we were on a 2-week hiatus, and let's go ahead and get into our last show to recap. Do you remember it, Chosen? Putting in the work.
What did we talk about? We talked about putting in the work, the importance of putting in the work. Yeah, it has been a hiatus, for good reason, of course. Putting in that work, man. Basically, my key point and my bullet point that I had for putting in the work was, you can't, you only gonna get out of something what you put into it. You want something to grow, you got to put in that work. You got to make them sacrifices. You might have some people that were with you that started out with you that don't end up at the same destination with you. So that's pretty much what it was. As if y'all remember, and if y'all don't, then y'all can go back to the YouTube channel and then you can look at all the previous episodes, all the previous combos.
All right. So today's topic, we're going to discuss rebuilding a new foundation. Now, the reason this came up is because when we discussed putting in the work, we were talking about people being complacent, being comfortable in their situation, not knowing how to bounce back from a divorce, losing their job, being evicted. So I felt it was important to discuss rebuilding and how not to rebuild on the negative that you just experienced, the bad experiences, because it's doomed to fall again if your foundation isn't solid. Now, Leroy, can you lay some foundation for us, some solid foundation for us to build on?
Yes. First of all, in order to build a foundation, the first foundation must be tore down. So, in order for a proper foundation to be built, uh, you want to get rid of all the old that have been utilized in order to build something that's going to. So you need new tools. Frame the new foundation or the new building that's going to be built. One of the issues that we have in the new foundation is we tend to use old tools and old things to try to build a new foundation in a relationship,
Leroy,
especially.
we're getting a lot of feedback. Do
Yes,
you have
we are.
yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback. Can you put on your uh, earbuds? Let's see if that helps.
Okay, one second.
All right, thank you.
Let me make a move too.
Okay, so Chosen, building on what he was saying as far as using new tools to build on. Can you elaborate on that? You know what those tools are?
I mean, yeah, like the same thing that you used before. You don't really want to go back to using those again, especially if they didn't help you get past a certain level the first time. So when you rebuilding or bouncing back, you want to always make sure that you throw away, like, let's say you're writing something, you see so many people, they write in a notebook, and if this don't work, they crumble it up, they throw it. You have to start all the way over don't use the same pencils, same pens, don't use the same mindset. So when we talk about tools, your tool is your mind is the best tool for every, for everything. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you take the mistakes and the things that didn't work the first time, switch up your mindset. Uh, make sure that that's the tool that you want to use, and do away with the things with the new tools too. Maybe you have new tools that are more efficient. Now that you know what to expect out of what you're about to build, you know what to go after. You know what to add to how you're going to redo, or rebuild, um, the new, how you gonna rebuild the new. So you'll already know, have a good idea, because what didn't work the last time, you don't want to go back and try to use what didn't work the last time, or what wasn't as sufficient as the last time.
Okay, welcome
So
back, Leroy.
it's a complete do-over. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Okay, so when we were discussing the tools, and I know I hear my echo, I apologize. We were discussing those tools. You were saying before you left, to rebuild on a solid foundation, you have to use different tools. What are some of
Yes,
those
yes.
tools?
Well, before I begin, the tool I also want to uh
Mm,
utilize, because really it's not necessarily a tool, it's a style, it's a certain a formula that you want to
mm,
use when building a foundation that is going to last. So personally, we know that Jesus Christ is the rock, he is a solid foundation. uh Before even I want to read and share that scripture for you guys. That's very directed toward what we are discussing today. But just using a quick illustration, dealing with relationships. Uh, some women and men find it difficult to excel in their relationships because they don't realize that they are utilizing the same old tools that they use in the new relationship. And the two, they need a different formula. So it's not necessarily about the tool itself, but it's about the formula. Change up the formula, you get a different result. But still, if the formula that you are using is not uh it don't fit the criteria for that moment, for that purpose, you're probably going to get negative results. So you can use certain old tools to try to build a new foundation in a new relationship and still get the same thing. So you have to change up some more things that you was doing in the old relationship that was not feeling solid foundations into the new relationship, which you are going to use new foundations to try to build something solid that's going to last. So, in this particular scripture that I'm going to share, Jesus Christ was talking to the disciples, and he shared something. He shared the positive and the negative when it comes to
okay.
a solid foundation. So, this is in Luke chapter 6, verse 46 to 49. He says, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? I will show you what he is like, who comes to me and hears my words and put them into practice. He is like a man building a house who dug down deep and laid the foundation on rock. When a flood came, the torrent struck that house, but could not shake it because it was well built. But the one who hears my words and does not put them into practice, he is like a man who built on the ground without foundation. The moment the torrent struck that house or the rain, it collapsed and its destruction was complete. So, in that positive uh, part of you, the illustration that Jesus Christ used for the foundation, we see right here that he says that number one is words that he has given that we must put into practice. And when we are receiving those words, he said you got to dig down deep when you first put down your foundation. In other words, when you putting up a post or you putting up something, you got to dig down real deep to get all the old stuff out so you can put the new stuff in, and then compress that area to where what you put in is going to hold it up. It's going to hold the post up. So Jesus Christ saying, whatever you have inside of you, dig all of that mess and that stuff up out of you, so that when you put the rock, the foundation, the pillar, when you put that in and then compress the dirt around it to make sure it's standing, that's going to be firm enough to withhold the whole house after it gets built. So these are illustrations that Jesus Christ used, but his formula in building something that is going to last was built upon his teachings. Are you practicing what he is teaching?
Okay. Okay. So getting rid of all of that unnecessary stuff, that would be things that have been said, negative things that have been said, negative experiences, um, even our own thoughts, because as humans, there are some of us that what am I about to say? Self sabotage, you know, and it can be fear, it can be like I said, bad experiences. It's very important to get rid of all of that junk, I would say. Even a bad experience on a job, argument with your spouse, and so it's important to get rid of all of this negative stuff before you rebuild. Correct? That's what you're saying.
Yes, correct.
Okay, chosen. What do you have to say on that?
I mean, I totally agree with that. You can't, like I said before, you can't have a fresh start with like old, with the old
The old mindset.
debris or the old mindset. Yeah, like you have to when I look at it kind of like this. If you really want to, when you really want to start over and you really want to make things anew, that you are already presented with that change. You already going through your mind telling yourself, okay, well, when I do this, when you come out of the I guess the sunken place, because when you're going through something and you got to let it go in order to rebuild it, you first have to destroy it. You know what I'm saying? So either you destroy it or somehow it gets destroyed. And after losing that, you go through the grief of losing what it is, that how it was before. But so that being said, you are already presented with what you can't do the next time you begin to rebuild. You're already
Okay.
presented, okay, well, I can't do this. So the next thing about it is hey, you have to have that willingness to change. You got to have that willingness to put forth that
That effort.
that effort to leave those things behind. Humans have, we as humans, we have we sometimes have a habit of bringing up the past, which sometimes it can be damaging and sometimes it can be beneficial, because sometimes to see how far you've come, the only reason why you're supposed to look back at the past is to see how far you've come. Is that as a reminder of what you survived, or um what what is next. So that's kind of what it is that I feel like, when it comes to rebuilding, you pretty much already have an idea of what needs to change.
Okay, so it is one moment. Leroy had a technical
Yeah,
difficulty there. He'll
yeah, I
be
see.
back. Okay, so we have a comment. Rochelle says sometimes the negative stuff replays in your head over and over. What can you do to get it to stop? All right, so let's let's address that.
I
Now,
can answer that.
go ahead.
I can answer that. You don't you don't focus on. It's like a scar. Whenever you look down at that scar, it's gonna remind you of what happened. It's gonna remind you that it's gonna remind you that exact day, and you might even get a glimpse of how it felt to even how that scar even got there. What it is like I said, it's a reminder. The negative is always a reminder as to how far you need to go, how far you've come, so you really don't get it to stop, because it was there, it happened. As time goes by, um, and as things get better as they should for you, you that negative, the intensity of the negative, it dies down, but it will never stop, because whenever you go back to it, First, whenever you get to that negative, it hurts. As
Mhm.
time passes, when you think on that negative, it's look at what I've survived, look at what I've made
Mhm.
through. Then the more and more you get to, your blessings, the blessings that come, and you think about that negative, then all of a sudden, sometimes, and I ain't gonna say all of a sudden, then over time it turns into, if it had not been for this, maybe I wouldn't have had the will to get to where I'm at now. So it doesn't stop. You just have to, you just have to keep going. The more
Okay,
and more
so
you
Leroy.
elevate, the more and more you can look down on that negative. But whenever you're at that negative, whenever that happens to you, it's either you eye level or you feel like it's overwhelming, so it's here, and then you're down here. But the more and more you elevate, the negative gets beneath you.
I agree with that. Yeah, we can't deny that those experiences are going to replay, and the it replaying is like I. I equate that to a stronghold. It's something that's trying to hold you down. So you are to constantly fight it. You know, it's like how do you want to say this? I know it's a movie or something we can put out there, but it's going to
Yeah,
be
it
a
is. It is.
constant. It's a constant battle to. It's a hurdle that you have to get over. Every time it come up, it
Hmm.
just means it's more and more for you to attack it. You have to attack it. Like Chosen said, remind yourself where you are today. You overcame it. Leroy, Rochelle had a question. She said sometimes the negative stuff replays in your head over and over. What can you do to get it to stop?
Okay. Uh, First of all, what do you choose to believe? Uh, we can believe a negative comment that may be a lie, or it may be something of the truth. And if it's of the truth, is it constructive? Will it build me up? Because if it's going to build me up, it may be worth me paying attention to, because what didn't kill me is going to make me stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody is saying something, that I may have to take a look at myself and say, is that me? Do I really identify with that statement? And if it's a negative thing, what do I do to make it better? Because what someone else at the same time may view as negative may be a positive for you. So you have to know how to identify with who you are. So once you begin to identify exactly with who you are, there's nothing anyone else can say that can make you see or feel or think different about yourself. Because some people try to put you in the box where they want you to. So it's a manipulative thing that can go on with someone wants you where they want you at. Some don't want you to elevate higher than them.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll put you in a box and they'll tell you certain things that's negative. Or some may feel that you can't do the job that they can do. So they'll put you in a box and say something that's negative. None of these things that I'm saying is true when it comes to God's creation. God created us to excel higher than what we can imagine. And so, if that's the case, what do I believe? Whom do I believe? So, looking at that particular, what was the last part of that question?
What can you do to get it to stop?
What can you do to get it to stop? What can you do to get it to stop? So, first of all, just looking at that right there, first I have to make a decision that I'm going to either listen to or not listen to, here or not here. And then once I do that, we've all grown up hearing the phrase, uh, eat the meat and throw away the bones. This is a situation where we have to eat the meat and get rid of the bones, because everything that is given may not be healthy. And so, what someone may be saying, I have to make that part of my arsenal. So as we talking about building foundations today, and we talking about utilizing tools that we need in order to build a stronger foundation, there's certain things that we've heard our whole life that is going to cripple us. It's certain things that we have heard that's going to build us. So the things that we heard from family, from parents, from friends, from in-laws, and all of that stuff right there, it's a point of time where we say, what we have to do as self inventory of things that we heard and say, I'm going to move away from this, and get rid of all that negativity that has built who I am today because I listened to lies. That right there can put a man in a mind state and cripple him so much so that when he get on the ground, it's very, very difficult for that person to get back up because he is overloaded and overburdened with all someone else's negative inputs on their lives. So it
And
has to come up.
that's true. That's fair. That's fair. You know, she had also asked, when you're replaying these experiences, trying to help someone else. Um, what did she say? She say, what about if you bring up a situation in the past as a way to connect the dots from that moment to the topic that you might be talking about with someone? Not because you're reliving that moment, but because you're trying to show that you understand what they're saying. Okay, so basically, if someone has experience and they come to you for advice, the only way that you know how to connect with them is based on a previous experience you had. Okay, so what she's saying is when you're reliving that moment, trying to connect with someone to illustrate to them that you've been there, how do you stop that, I guess, that emotion and that memory, that feeling and stuff from coming back? I really don't believe there's a way to do that. I think it's more so of trying to find the positive in it instead of going into the details of that experience. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yes, I
okay.
understand. I understand what you're
Because
saying.
what
Go ahead,
you
chosen.
Yeah, cause
Go
what you're
ahead,
talking,
Chosen.
cause what you really hitting on once again is duality, man. Because like we always talk, you know how me and you chop it up. We always talk about there's never gonna be one thing without the other. There's never pain without pleasure. I mean, there's never pleasure without pain. There's never happiness without sadness. All of they on the same, they they're on the same pole, two ends of the same pole. So
Mm-hmm.
what you have to find is balance, and then you have to use one of them. So that negative, so the negative part of it, like I said at first, yeah, it hurt to think about it. It hurts when you think about just the negative, but when you balance it out and you dig deeper and you think about why it's here, how it got here, and how can it make you stronger? Hey, if it wasn't for this, then I wouldn't have been here. You know what I'm saying? If it or like let's say in a relationship, like people talk about how good it feels to be reunited. How can you ever be reunited if you never grow apart? If you never break apart? The negative part about that happens. What happens when what happens that could cause a disconnect or a breakup? Um, maybe you had an argument. When you had an argument, or maybe it was a misunderstanding, and no
Mm-hmm.
one knows why it got this way or how it got this way, and then you split ways. You part ways for a little while, and somebody then you revisit what happened, and then you come back and you find out you after you had time to take time to think, and you do the apologizing and you do all of that, then at the end of it, it's like, okay, we done made it through that. Now we can probably make it through anything. So when you get to that point to where you say, well, now we can make it through anything, how would you know what you can make it through if you never go through it? You know what I'm saying? So with that, I say with the negative, like I said, after as time goes by, when you deal with, let's say, once again, dealing with relationships, you can look back, have pillow talk. Hey, you remember 4 years when we did this and this happened, and yeah, we were so
So you're
foolish then.
saying that you could
How
turn
would you
that
be
negative
able
into a
to?
positive.
Well, you have to find the positive in what that negative brought. If we never had this, if we never had this debate, if we never had this fight, we wouldn't be to where we could come back together. If we never broke up then, we probably wouldn't be to where we came back together because we was able to see past certain things. There has to be growth. You know what I'm saying? There has to be a certain type of growth. The growth, there's a lot that comes in with obtaining growth. So you have to have the negative. You have to have the negative come to bring some positives. Like I said before, you can't in order to see the stars, you got to see in order to see the stars and the moon, the darkness got to
You
come.
gotta it's gotta have
You know what I'm
darkness.
saying? So you
Yeah,
got to
you
have some
said
type
that.
of respect for darkness in order to see the moon and the stars. And a lot of times we like to correlate darkness to like something that's negative, that it's bad or whatever, which that's what the condition of, or what the symbolism. I'm gonna say that I meant to
The
say
symbolism.
symbolism to what darkness is. We look at it as it's bad, but in order to like I said, see the moon and stars, you have to have certain respect for the darkness. Because if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't be able to be sitting up here under this moonlit sea, and wouldn't be able to show you the stars and teach you how the constellations dot the eyes, and dot the constellations and connect them and stuff like that. So you have to have that
Right.
negative. That negative never goes away. It's, are you going to let it keep you down, or are you going to elevate to see where the negative has brought you?
So you're saying don't get caught up in the emotions of the experience.
Well, like you've always used to tell me, man, allow yourself to feel what you feel, because it's gonna happen. You go to
Because
the
it's gonna
dentist. Yeah, you go to the dentist, and you got to get a feeling. Well, this doggone tooth hurt, and you only been eating on one side of your mouth for like 6 months because you ain't want to go to the dentist. So you go to the dentist, and the reason why you didn't go to the dentist is you ain't want that needle all in your mouth. So you know what I'm saying? So once you finally get up, that negative part is, man, look, I'm tired of not being able to eat on one side of my mouth. Man, let me go ahead and get this over with. So that negative is you feeling that, man, I don't want to feel this needle. I don't want to. But once you get over that feeling and you get over that emotion of that pain that's gonna do this to me, and you finally get in that chair and you get that done, and then when your mouth come back to, and they tell you after that 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever it is that you can have and eat whatever you want to eat, and you go drink that juice, you go eat them tacos and whatever it is you're gonna eat, and you eating on both sides of your mouth again. That's the positive that came out of that negative. The thing about it is you have a choice. You either gonna rise or you gonna fall. And at
Mm.
the end of the
I like
day,
that you said
most
that.
people, yeah, either you gonna rise or
It's
you
the
gonna fall.
choice.
At the end of the day, you got your. At the end of the day, you have your point. Where everybody hit that point. I can't take this no more. You know what I'm saying? And no
Mm-hmm.
matter what, then you go ahead and you do it. The thing about it is sometimes if you wait so long, we know that if you wait so long and you dwell in the negative so long, your situation will get worse until you are forced to make it better.
Leroy, you like to address that?
Yes, yes. I totally agree with the chosen on this. You and I were speaking about this new law coming into effect, the carry law, with where you do not need to have permit or
Permission to
license.
carry?
And
Yes.
yes, and we was discussing how to utilize the tool, and for the tool to be effective. And in order for the tool to be effective, the two got to be big enough and strong enough for it to do what it needs to do. Sometimes
Uh,
the experience calls for the proper tools. And once we
Mm-hmm.
get the proper tools, we still need to know how to utilize them. So, looking at the experience of it all, the emotions, nothing is wrong with the emotional impact. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing
Okay.
is wrong with reliving a situation to the point where you feel everything that you felt during that day when you first experienced what it was that you experienced. Nothing is wrong with that. But ask yourself, why do God give us those experiences? He give us those experiences so we can prepare for the future. Because once again, what did not kill me made me stronger. If you look at the scripture and you look at Luke and you look at chapter 22, in verse 31, Jesus say, Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift you like wheat, but I have prayed for you so that when your strength return, you may come back and strengthen your brothers. So right after that, what Jesus said that he had done was he denied him 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Peter vowed to go all the way to death. When Jesus told him, well, this is what you're going to do so we can get to the meat. You're going to deny me. And he said, no, I won't deny you. He said, man, before the rooster crows, you are going to deny me. And he did it once, he did it twice, and he did it again. And when he snapped, this is what I've done. I think that in that particular text, he began to feel sorrowful after those events. And it broke him down so much that Peter felt at that second he was no good. At that moment, the enemy, while he was down, was able to attack and speak to his experience through all of the emotions that he was living through and say, Peter, you are no good. You lied, you denied the Son of the living Most High God. You are not fit to be a disciple, a follower, a carrier of the news of the gospel. So you need to go on about your business. But at some point, the tool that Jesus gave him was to pray. He said, because I prayed so that you may be strengthened during this time period. In other words, the experience is going to take you to a deep, dark place, a place that's down. But as you relive the experience and get all the emotions behind it, it should prompt you to make you do something. So
I
he
agree.
utilized, yes, so he utilized the power in prayer. That was the tool that was used. He was able to tap back into something that's going to take him and elevate him. And when he returned, he was to use that to help somebody else that may have been in that same spot. So this thing, this experience is all given to you to overcome so you can come back and help somebody else with what they are going through. So it's not never meant for you to
I
stay
agree.
down, but it's meant for you to elevate. So when reliving the experience, it's going to be a time where you should cop and say, I ain't gonna never let that happen to me again. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I know it's not gonna never happen to me again, because the minute I sense it, see it, can identify with it, I'm gonna call it and say, no, you won't be doing that. No, this is not going to, no, that, because what your experiences and how you relive and what you have been through, you will never go down that road again. So don't
And
let
that
no
makes
experience
sense.
cripple you. Go ahead.
That makes a lot of sense. That's why that saying, "My bounce back is stronger," because they've taken that experience, they've gotten out of it what they were supposed to get out of it to help them build and move forward to elevate to the next level. Um, and we've all started over somewhere, whether it be a job, like I say, whether it be a relationship, we've all started over. And there are things, those experiences, those feelings and all those negative, we're talking focusing on the negative, that helped us grow, helped us elevate. And I definitely get what you're saying, because like I've always told Chosen, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, because when you try to suppress it, it'll keep you there. It'll keep you there. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling for the moment that you're feeling, so it won't hinder you again. So when it comes back up, you don't get back into that state of mind where you feel defeated. If you allow yourself to feel it, go through it, you can beat it the next time it comes back to mind. you know that's
You'll know
how
what
I
it
see it,
is.
depending on
And
what it
that's
is.
and but that's it. And that's a vital part of what we were talking about, what the initial the initial conversation is. It's like the
Yeah,
rebuilding.
rebuilding on a
That's
new
so
foundation.
yeah, so
Correct.
right. So you know what not to bring in. You know
Hmm.
what to utilize, and whenever it's like your immune system. Your immune system gets shown what it needs to fight. So when it shows up,
Hmm.
it recognizes it and it can take it out. And like with us, it's like Leroy said, man, when this come up, I already know not to deal with it. And then
Hmm.
going back to what I said, it was you automatically know after something is destroyed. It was like, okay, maybe next time, this time we're gonna not use uh this for the stints. We're gonna not use this for the support.
Yep.
We're gonna use this for the support. And the only way that you were able to figure out what not to use, you had to find what you built had to be destroyed so that you could see what didn't work.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is
So
correct.
going back to wrapping all of that up, it's the negative. You know what I'm saying? You look at the negative and what didn't work and you don't use it to keep you down. Now it can keep you down if you let it. But
Hmm.
as long as you
But
get,
like you
as
said, it's a
long as
choice.
you yeah, it's a choice. Now it's a choice if you just want to stay there. But at the same time, there will be something that comes around and make you to make you bounce back. You're going to bounce back. You never stay in there because I don't know if y'all believe. I've heard this once before, and I don't know if y'all. I'm gonna put this out here and see if y'all agree. with this, but I heard it before and it made sense to me when I heard it. Is you are always in motion. We always in motion.
We're
So
always in motion. It just depends on the
yeah,
direction that you choose to go. You can go backwards or
right.
you can go forwards, but you're always in motion.
Always in motion. And at some point in time in your life, you're gonna get tired of where you are. You're gonna get tired of being handed the same things, and you're going to eventually wind up moving forward. It might be slower than everybody else. It might be you might be able to move light years, but eventually you will wind up moving forward.
Yes. Oh, I want to
It's a
add
choice
something
that
to
you
you,
make.
Chosen.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I just want to
No, go
add
ahead.
something in connection with what you are saying. When
Yeah, I'm ready.
as both of you guys are saying, it's not meant for you to stay in that place. You're going to be moving. You're going to bounce back. I think once we are out of the bad experience, the negative part, the foundation of whatever was tore down. It didn't work. It's no good. I think in that moment, in the current moment, I think the question we should ask ourselves is concerning what I've been through and what I went through. Am I victorious or am I defeated?
Mm.
Looking at your life, looking at where you're at, ask the question, am I victorious or am I defeated? Because either you losing and you still losing, or you are winning or you are still winning. Because you could move forward as a loser. You can move
Yeah.
forward as a winner, but you're still moving forward as we have discussed. So when you identify which one you are, you can do something to fix that issue if there is an issue. Because if we're a winner, we want to just stay victorious and stay a winner. But if we don't think that we winning in a situation, we may have to do some tinkering to get ourselves to that winning position. So, because we
All
still
right.
working, we still building, we still trying to get this foundation right. So, tools that we did not use in our previous negative experience that we went through may, in the name of Jesus, some tools may come along in Him that we could say, you know what, I never really utilized that where I'm at right now. Let me start utilizing certain tools that I was trying to build a good relationship or build a good situation for myself that I didn't use in my
Doing something
previous
different.
negative situations. And so, therefore, we are doing something new in order to get a different or new outcome.
All right. We have a comment from a new viewer. The question is, can too much optimism be a bad thing? Now, Leroy, I know you and I have discussed this plenty of times. I know you say I am too optimistic, but
Yeah.
I would say that it's not, because being optimistic gives you that hope, that hopefulness. But let me go ahead and allow you to address this. You know, you and I have different perspectives on this. So go right ahead.
Girl, you already know how where we stand. But I will say this here pertaining to pessimistic and being
Optimistic
optimistic.
and
Uh,
pessimism.
let's look at Jesus and let's look at
Okay.
his whole big ministry, his time on earth, his lifeline, what he was to do. He came preaching the gospel. He came bringing hope. That was his whole mission, to bring
Mm-hmm.
hope to a dying nation or a generation or a world, that he was going to uh, do some things so that everybody can be saved. And so, with that, let's ask ourselves: did he ever experience negative? In the
Yes.
scriptures, did he ever have to look towards pessimistic views? And the question is, or the answer is yes, because he dealt with the Pharisees. While he was
Mm-hmm.
trying to press forward to get the message off, he had people coming and trying to combat him on it. And they was trying to question everything that God had sent him to do. So in scriptures, in certain passages, he was always confronting or arguing or debating with them, because a lot of the times they was trying to trick him or put him in a place to where it was kind of like make everything contrary to what he said he was going to do, such as saying that he's the son of the living God. It was just certain things that they was doing to try to trick him. So he had to be pessimistic in a way in which he have to look for them and the tricks and the games that they was going to play ahead of time
So
because
what
he
you're
knew that
saying,
they was going to play them.
so what you're saying is too much optimism, if you don't allow yourself to see the negative, can be a bad thing.
I think that this is a situation to where it can be very delicate.
Okay.
First, we don't want to downplay being optimistic.
Okay.
Optimism is a very important tool.
It's
It's
very
the
important.
future. It's the hope. It's the thing that I'm trying to obtain. It's
Mm-hmm.
the relationship that I'm trying to have. It's the financial stability that I'm trying to reach. Optimism is everything. So
It is.
let me not play that down. But with the situation being delicate in between optimism and pessimistic is that just because I'm trying to obtain everything that's good, don't necessarily mean that I'm not going to experience something bad. So that everything that can happen bad in the future while I'm trying to obtain what I'm trying to obtain can be fixed because I'm able to identify because of the pessimistic situations that took place on my view. Now I'm looking for. I'm waiting. That ain't gonna happen. This ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen because now I'm able to stop it. So I have a perspective now of how to stop things before things take place. But what we do not want to do is confuse the hope in optimism with the hope in pessimism. I don't want to hope for nothing good. So I think that our spirit and a being get confused with what we are hoping for because it could come a time where only thing that I'm sitting up here I'm trying to obtain a classy, jazzy, nice wife for myself, but I keep getting all the hoochie mamas and ghetto mamas and baby mamas. And I got to stop and I got to ask myself, because the pessimistic part of what am I really deep down hoping for? Am I accepting anything that I can get? Or is this
Okay.
true optimism for myself?
One
And
moment,
it's
please. Chosen, you wanted to say something there. Go right ahead.
All I'm saying is, all I want to say was just summing it up. What he's saying with that question, it's too much optimism bad. The thing, only time that only time that's like bad is when is when imbalance is in place. You have to have balance
Okay.
because if you think about it, you never. Okay, you remember the movie The Matrix?
Yes.
Okay, so did you see the second one, right?
I've seen them all.
All right, yeah. So, duh. Um, so you remember when Morpheus at the end of the second one, when Morpheus was disheartened about how everything was shaping up and how everything was and how everything wound up being, and he said it was a dream that I had and now that dream is gone from me. He believed in that prophecy so much. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
even think to be like, okay, what would happen if this happened? You know what I'm saying? And then it's almost like too with Star Wars. With Star Wars, they believed some of the Jedi believed in this prophecy talking about um I think this is the one that's gonna bring balance to the force, and this is one that's gonna do it. And Yoda says, maybe you read the prophecy wrong, but they believed in the prophecy so much that they weren't able to balance out the fact that hey, maybe this isn't what it's talking about. Maybe it won't go this way. So whenever you are fixed on one perception of something that you believe, yes, we always as believers in the
So
Most
you
High,
saying the
the
extreme.
one thing that we always say is it's gonna all work out for the better. It's gonna all work out at the end. It's gonna all work out in the end. You're gonna be all right. I used to always tell me, you say, you're fine, you're good, you're gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? So if you constantly look at just the parts where it's okay to where you're gonna be fine, and you don't look at the parts where it's like in what degree, what is it gonna take for me to be what is it going to take for that to happen? And you're not looking at that. If you're just looking at maybe everything supposed to be painless and
Possibility
stuff,
of
when that
something going.
pain comes, huh?
mhm.
The
What'd you
possibility
say?
of something going
Yeah,
wrong.
the possibility going around, and it's like, okay, then that's when it's bad because
Yeah.
you can have a breakdown. You could be ready to give up. You know, man, all this happening, and this is what happened to. When do I win? You know what I'm saying? When does this happen to where it wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be like this? And it's like, so that's the only time that optimism or too much optimism is bad, when we fail to seek balance. You have to have
Yeah.
balance.
Correct.
You have to
Correct.
have balance.
Optimism,
He says,
optimism and
well said.
pessimism.
He
Yeah,
agrees.
optimism and pessimism is on they two ends of the same pole. So
Okay.
you have to have balance.
Yeah.
And we
Correct.
we mentioned that a lot about being balanced. We speak a lot about energy. It is important to be well balanced. Yes, there, like I said, Leroy and I have this conversation often. I am an optimistic person. It does not mean that I do not take the time to see what can go wrong. I just choose not to focus solely on what can go wrong. I know it's there. I see the possibilities, but I choose to be optimistic about situations. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to be prepared in case something goes wrong. So
It's like I hope it don't go wrong, but in the
I
event
hope
that
it
this
don't go
does
wrong.
go wrong, like in the event that this does go wrong, then this is what
Hey,
I'm
now
this
we
is
have
how
a
I got to
question
prepare
off
my mind.
subject here. We have a
All
question
right.
off topic here. Now, this is a fun one for me. What's y'all top three movies of all time?
You go first, ladies first,
Lord
man.
have mercy.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay,
Ladies
so
first.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
Ooh, Charlie Baltimore.
Yes.
Okay.
Point of No Return. Oh my goodness. And Tombstone. All right.
Hmm. Cool. Cool.
Cool.
Cool.
What's
Cool.
yours?
See, top three, man. That's hard for me because I got a lot. All right,
I could watch
so
those all
all right,
day.
so all right, so yeah, so one, okay, one I gotta go with Aliens. Um, uh, okay, yeah, Aliens. Another one of my other top in my top three. Um, that's a good one, man, because I like so many different things. I'm trying to think about Aliens. Uh, uh, Leroy, get yours out real quick, cause you got to come back to me, cause that's a good one. They stumped
I
me on
don't
my
want
own
to.
stuff.
I'm the
He said,
wrong
"I
one to
don't
be
want to."
asking. But
Yeah.
I would just thinking while you was trying to figure it out. I'll say these three right here, and I'm not for sure that these are the correct three at all. But I'll tell you what I found enjoyable. I
Okay.
really like the series of The Matrix, so I
Hmm.
will put that up
Mhm.
in there. Uh,
That's three
I
movies right
like
there.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
three right
yes,
there.
yes, three of them. I'm going to say the series, right?
The
Just
series.
Yeah,
in trying to be
got you.
fair, you know.
I got you. Yeah.
I really like Minister Society, uh, and the last one probably would be the Underworld series.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes,
yeah, here we
yes.
go. All right. So we got okay. So I said Aliens, Enter the Dragon, and so yeah, Aliens, Enter the Dragon. And I guess I gotta pick like one of the newer ones. I gotta pick like something that's new. Uh, I'm looking at a comment that popped
Rochelle.
up on here. Somebody
Yeah,
said,
Rochelle.
you like the Notebook. I've never seen the Notebook,
Oh,
and
somebody put
so
that up
yeah, yeah. Somebody put that. Yeah. The Tamika put up there talking about you like the Notebook. I never seen. So Aliens, Enter the Dragon. Nah, Aliens, Enter the Dragon, and the Lion King. I'm tripping.
That's
there.
funny.
Am I the only one here that's really Long Kiss Goodnight? I could watch that all day. I love that
Yeah, that
movie.
was a real good one, man. Like I said, Charlie Baltimore, man. That that
Yes.
that. Mm-hmm.
And Point of No Return was awesome for me as well. Now, Tombstone, I think I'm just all about the good bad people, you know,
Yeah.
the good
Or
bad
I'll be your
people.
huckleberry.
I'll be
I'll
your
be your
huckleberry. That
huckleberry.
used to be my
I'll
very
be your
favorite
huckleberry.
saying. I'll be your
That's
huckleberry.
everybody's favorite saying, man. Everybody say that. I'll be your huckleberry. So I guess okay. So like, the reason why I went with like some of those movies, like when I went, reason why I went with Aliens, man, because Aliens had like a lot of dynamics. It was backs put against the wall against something that you never faced before, a chance for redemption. And one of the reasons why I like that movie was the character Ellen Ripley was sent somewhere, and when
Good
she
morning,
came back,
Latish.
she lost everything. She lost her daughter. She lost everything. When she went back after 52 years out of cryo sleep to go back to the company that sent her out there, she told them what she saw. She told them everything about how all her people died. This lady lost folks. And at the end of the day, they tripping off of what she said she saw.
Mm,
She trying to tell them about the xenomorph, and she's like, "Well, we never figured out. No one ever said anything about that, so there's no proof of anything that you said." And she was like, "Because I blew it out the airlock." You know what I'm saying? So she was like, "Of course it ain't." And so at the end of it, they was like, "Okay, please tell." So they strip her of everything, her rank or whatever, basically saying that she crazy, and then she asked, "Okay, so send somebody over there to check out what I saw." And then he like, "Hey, I mean, we got like over 50 families over there, and they never said anything. 50 families." And so then she get this call in the morning, and they say, "Hey, something went down on LV 426. We lost contact with the colony of LV 426." So it's like right there to there, it's like everybody's been through this. I think everybody has been through that one point where somebody didn't believe them about what they said or
mm-hmm.
accused of something that they didn't do or something. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden something happens that correlates. Well, maybe she ain't crazy. Well, maybe.
Well,
And
maybe
it's
they
oh,
ain't
so now you
crazy.
want me to go up there? Maybe. So now you want me to go out there and now you want me to show you what it is I saw. So you gear up and do it. And then it has and I've always been a fan of women empowerment and looking at a woman uh be the mother, the matriarch, and the warrior mother, and how she goes back to go get Newt and get away from her, you son of a, you know what I'm saying? Like that was like one of my favorite lines, and that was like the protector. Another reason why I like the Lion King was the Lion King because Mufasa was the protector. He protected Simba. And, he showed him, he was willing to die for him. One against all the will. I don't care how many will there be. I'm coming to get my son. It was always the courageous thing and all they know. Pride Rock got tore down. It took the sun to rebuild it. So guess what? Guess what can't happen in Pride Rock? We can't have no hyenas. You know what I'm saying? So we got to find out how to keep the hyenas out. You know what I'm saying? So and that's one of and that's it. Like and then Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon. That was hey, I gotta go find. It's revenge is best served cold, and that really speaks for itself. That's why I said those are my three top movies, man.
I
Thank you
want
for
to thank
asking that question,
I
Yoshi.
want to thank that Vera. She really got chosen
Yeah.
acclimated, and he did a good job explaining everything that he needed to.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
for asking
You
that.
know.
Okay, now he also said that those were dope movies, that he really liked some of those
Yeah,
choices, and he wanted to know our top three music records.
Lord have
However,
mercy.
we don't have the time to go into those.
Can we
Negro.
stick a pin in that? Come back next
We're
week
gonna
and
hold that one for the
come
next
back next
show.
week. Stick a pin in that one, and we gonna
Yes.
yeah.
So that gives you time, Leroy, to think about your top three music records.
Yeah, I'm gonna pray on it.
Thank you for joining Coffee and Convo Houston. Hope you got something out of today's show. A new rebuilding on a new foundation. Please utilize those tools as necessary. Um, Rochelle says, same bat channel, same bat time, laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Yes. Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Coffee and Convo Houston. Thank you for joining. Enjoy your Sunday.
God
Have a good
bless.
weekend. Yes, sir.